Crochet Knit Love by Jo. I'm Jo and this is podcast number 18. This wasn't 2 weeks, was it? God, I seem to be saying this every episode, or most of the episodes, especially recently. So I was going to record the podcast a couple of weeks ago, and then randomly, spur of the moment, I decided to go to Unravel Festival at Farnham, like you do. It's a couple of hours drive each way, but I really wanted to go. And even if your friends are busy, you should still go to these things, which is exactly what I did. And it was great. So I'll tell you about that in a bit. So if you can hear a weird tinny noise in the background, that would be Ellie, who has waited for all this time while it's been nice and quiet. She's now decided to eat her food as soon as I start recording. And clearly is trying to eat the bowl as well. So sorry about that noise. She should stop soon, hopefully. How is everyone? You okay? Have you had any snow? We did not get snow. Further up north did. Those of you that know we're on the south coast, so we do tend to get slightly nicer weather. Although today is not nice weather, pouring down. I'm actually off today, yes, which I'm very grateful for, and I'm under strict orders from the husband to not do anything house or boring wise, and I have no intention to. So I thought, first things first, get the podcast, go through all the bits because there's a few things to show this episode, and then might do a bit of crochet, a bit of yarn sorting. I was hoping to do a bit of yarn dyeing. I was actually going to do some yarn dyeing outside because now we've moved. Whilst I have a lovely kitchen, unfortunately the previous people who owned it decided to have white worktops. So white worktops and yarn dye will not get on well. So I'm going to have to think of other areas to obviously do some more yarn dyeing. But that'll be when the weather's a bit warmer. I've got a load of Winnie's yarn to show you as well. So I'll do that towards the end. What have I got? I've actually had to write notes down in my book because there's quite a few things to go through, because actually I think it's been about a month. Whilst I have every intention of doing these every 2 weeks, life gets in the way, if I'm honest. That work-life balance, what is that? I work full-time, so the job consumes a lot of energy and brain, Monday to Friday. I've had to go away I had a night away the other week, so that sort of impacts on, to be honest, my knitting and crochet time. Damn you, work. So yeah, it's a bit, I kind of find when I finish work, by the time you've sort of done dinner and all the boring jobs, if I have a little bit of time, that's when I'm going to sit and do a bit of crochet or knitting, because we have no life during the week socially wise because of work, which I'm sure loads of you can relate to, unless you're fortunate to be retired. But if I want to retire, I'm kind of wishing my life away to get to that point, so I'm not going to do that. But we just have to make the most of it, don't we? And make the most of our weekends. Unless you work weekends, then you obviously just make the most of the time that you have. Because that sounded a bit deep. I didn't mean it like that, as if that's all the time you've got. But any spare time you've got, make the most of, whether you're doing a hobby or spending time with family or whatever. Anyway, that was a bit deep. Ellie's now finished her food and popped upstairs now, so hopefully it'll be quiet unless she decides to bark, which we do normally expect most episodes. Anyway, let's stop waffling. Let me see. I have got to refer to my notes. I've obviously got quite a tired brain today. Pattern testing. I need to stop saying a lot. I'm noticing I'm doing that quite a bit now. Stop. Calm. Even though I'm on my 18th episode, I still get really nervous doing this. And I talk with my hands, my jazz hands. So I try and hold them relatively still. I just naturally want to fidget. So sorry about that. What am I going to show you anyway? I don't know why I feel really nervous today. It's weird. I think it's when I do the episodes every 2 weeks, I'm fine. I sort of get into a momentum with them, but obviously this is a bit longer. Anyway, enough waffle. Shut up, Jo. Those of you who follow me on Instagram will see a number of times I do pattern tests for people, whether it's crochet or knitting. Obviously I've been crocheting a lot longer than I have knitting, but I'm addicted to both. Just unfortunately don't have enough hands to do both crafts at the same time. I did a pattern test for HGC Designs called Love Struck, and it was it's supposed to be a baby blanket, but I love it that much I actually haven't put the border on it because I may turn it into a bigger blanket a bigger blanket. So I want to show you this. So I used the pattern's due out, I think it's the 24th. If it's any different, obviously the usual, I'll put the comment below, right under here. It's a crochet blanket. So I've got a couple of crochet things to do, because on the back of making this blanket, I suddenly had this urge to crochet granny squares like you do. And I don't know how well you're going to see it, because this is unfortunately quite close. It's just where the cable's running. So I will hold it up and show you. It's a heart. Look at that. Hoping you can see. Don't know whether you can see all of it. If not, I will pop a photograph in of the blanket when I took it in the garden for a couple of pictures. I really enjoyed doing this, and it was the join as you go. So each, you do several rounds. How many was it? You do a couple of rounds, and then on the third round then you would be joining it. So the yarn I used was Shape is Soft Fun. They do a box of, I think it's, I want to say it's 12 small. I haven't got any to show you because obviously it's all in here, but they're this small balls of yarn, and it's cotton and acrylic, I believe, for both of them. But I only had the rainbow box. Comes in a box kind of that sort of size, and I've had the box for a while, and it's one of those, you get it because it looks lovely, and then you just, it sits on the shelf staring at it. But I thought it was perfect to do the heart for this blanket. I then used on the outside, which has got a bit of a halo, yarn and colours in the cream, but it was the similar mix of fibre that this was. So this is an adorable pattern, perfect size baby blanket. But I don't know anyone, because of obviously my age. I haven't got any friends who've got babies. We don't really have any babies as such in the family. So selfishly, I'm going to turn this into probably a bigger blanket and join on the end here. There is a border you can add around here, but I didn't do it because I'm going to leave it for the moment, but see what I can add to it to make it bigger. But isn't that adorable? So go and check HGC Designs. She's amazing with her granny square. She does some wonderful, bright, colourful jumpers and blankets. And this is due out imminently, and I'd highly recommend it. And I really enjoyed pattern testing it. I've not done a crochet pattern test for a while. I've done a few more knitting ones recently, but crochet, adore it. So that was that one. But on the back of making this lovely blanket, I then got the urge to make granny squares and to make a granny square blanket. I started off really well. I'm not always the best at sewing in my ends as I go along, because to be honest it's boring and I just want to crochet the squares. So I started off really well. I was like, I'm going to sew all the ends in, did the first row of 6, and then got bored of that and didn't. So that didn't go down to plan. So I'm just going to show you, the crochet hooks that I use are, I've got Clover are my favourite, but these are the Tulip by Clover, and I've used a 4.5mm hook on that blanket and on this one that I'm doing. And I have used one of my favourite acrylic yarns, Stylecraft. You see obviously there's no bands on them because they are I think they're halfway down now. So I have just picked some random colours that I had sitting in a basket. There was no sort of plan with the colours. Excuse the ends. There's some of the ends, look. We can look past that. Look past that. Right, I just need to put my hook away, because last night I had a bit of a hissy fit, because those of you who crochet know how easy it is to lose your hooks. I have no idea. I couldn't find this. I was having a right rant for 10 minutes, to the point Cole got up, big lights on, he's pulling cushions off, and I don't know how it has gone in between the cushion, but it wasn't quite near the cushion that I was sitting on to make them. So who knows where they go. Crochet hook gremlins, they pinch your hooks. They do, don't they? Oh, Ellie's ears have just pricked up at the word gremlin. Weird. So this is the blanket that I have started, which is a 7 round granny square. Look, no ends, that's only on the first row. And you can either do them where you do a square at a time, or you do, so I've been making all the yellow centres because I've decided to keep the centres all yellow, but then mixed up the colours. I've actually got fibre tickling my nose. And I've started off with a 6 width granny square. So I've done 6 along, and then I'm going to do 8 in length, so 8 by 6 squares, and then I'll have a work out whether that's big enough for what I need. But that, I'm loving making this. I'm enjoying it so much. I mean, it's hard because I'm almost finished a pair of socks, and I really want to finish them, but then obviously that crochet blanket has spurred me on to make another one. But it doesn't matter, as long as it's not for a gift that you've got a deadline for. Does it matter if you chop and change your project? It doesn't. You just gotta, I kind of am doing more of the things that I enjoy doing. So if I feel like crochet, I'm going to crochet or knit. Like I said, if I had enough arms, I'd do all of it together, but not an option. So I've, train of thought's gone, 7 round granny, and then I'm doing the join. I'm not doing the this, as you crochet along you can sort of do like a zigzag effect where you join all the squares. I'm not doing that. I'm literally adding the square as it's finished, or in this case I did 6 squares together and then joined them all last night, and it just sits nice and flat. You have your little bit there, but what you'll see is the way you join this is you end up with a gap. I don't know whether you can see that between the granny cluster, because you actually go in and slip stitch in between the clusters of 3, if that makes sense. There's a load of tutorials on YouTube to show you how to do it. I have done a couple of small tutorials before on crochet, real basic, for a couple of people that wanted to learn to crochet. This was during COVID, so I could just send them the videos. I may, if anybody's interested, look, I mean, there are millions of videos out there, but whether anyone wants to see little tutorials as part of this podcast, as part of my YouTube channel, let me know, comment below. But yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment, and I absolutely love it. This is Stylecraft yarn, as I've mentioned, which is an all-round great yarn for blankets. I've got Shapey's double knit, that's another really good brand, and New Fashion, which is quite a cheap price for acrylic yarn. I think on earlier podcasts, I've actually crocheted blankets with that before. Yeah, this is what I'm doing currently and loving it. So yeah, that's crochet. So random sock that I haven't finished the other ones. Right, what else? Knitting. Where's my knitting gone? I have to mind putting my blankets down, because no sooner do I put them down, that granny square one that I'm working on, I put it on the sofa, turn around and Ellie's literally trying to make a bed out of it. She is obsessed. She's got this one, we've got one of my smaller crochet blankets that when she she's now got into the habit that she gets to lie on it, that she'll actually, the other night she did it, she got on the sofa and she just stared at the basket where the blankets are. I think if she could talk, she would obviously be going, oh, where's my blankets? But yeah, she's, anyone else got pets? I think they own your house, your blankets. We have one of those pets. So I've put these on Instagram. I've made these for my son Jake, but he hasn't been able to wear them yet because I knew he'd basically trash them or lose one of them. So I didn't want to do it before I'd recorded the podcast. So he's been waiting like 3 weeks for these now. I will let him have them later. So I've just done a normal vanilla sock, and this is using the yarn colour Gotham. See if I can see. See if I can do this without everything falling out. I thought I'd planned everything, but obviously not. So I got this yarn quite a while back. It's hand-dyed Laura Denver, who's over on folksy.com, and it's Gotham City DK. Love knitting with DK yarn for socks, and this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And I bought I think 3 or 4 of these because I thought I'm gonna make a jumper with it. Yeah, that hasn't happened, but because my son is a big fan back in the day, but even now he loves the Gotham, anything Gotham related, Batman, that kind of DC dark. It's a bit more darker than Avengers, isn't it? So I thought it would be perfect to make him a pair of socks. So that's what the yarn looked like before it was unskeined, and it knits up beautifully. And there's the Gotham socks. I love knitting socks, really do. That's what got me into knitting 2020. I wanted to learn how to knit socks. I didn't realise how addicted I would get to knitting, but yeah, there's them ones. So what I also have is I finished a sock a while ago. I'm pretty sure it was last year, and then obviously got distracted by another project. Finally finished the other one, and this is yarn, I can't remember the colourway. I can't remember. I'm not even going to guess. And these are vanilla socks. That's all I seem to do is vanilla socks at the minute. But this colourway is by Cookson Crafts, and I'm pretty sure it was out of her treat box, because I normally would get 2 of them. I must have the other one in there. And yeah, so I've got another pair of double knit socks. I've also got here, no I haven't, so I've got loads of stuff here to show. I've got in my So Yarnilicious bag, which I've had this for quite some time. It's perfect for throwing in your handbag, your rucksack, or just take the bag. And this yarn, pretty sure this is Cookson Crafts as well. I actually wrote notes and thought I was prepared, but obviously not. This isn't on a blocker, so it's all slightly out of shape. I knitted this sock. Lovely. It's got some little micro stripes in it, which I love. And because this would have been finished by now, but obviously I'm having a crochet splurge, that's the other one, which I am just finishing off the decreases on after you've done the heel. I just do a heel turn, and the cuff I do, I don't do 2 knits, 2 purls. I do, but the knits go in the back of the stitch. And there's Ellie on cue. She's heard a noise nowhere near the house because she's got supersonic hearing, and I find it just does a neater stitch. Personally, that's my personal choice. When you do knit 2, purl 2, I just find that I'm trying to think, I can't explain it properly, can I? I just find the stitch definition is a lot neater. That's about right. So yeah, look at me and my socks. So if I'm going off in the car anywhere, or if I'm doing a long journey with work, just in case, so how I think ahead, is that if for some event they shut the motorway, or I had to park up, or the car broke down and I had to sit on the side of the motorway, which is really sad to think that thing, I always take my knitting, because you never know when you're going to need it. But touch wood, I've not actually had to, it's weird how we do that. I've not had to bring these out. You never know. But yeah, when you're a knit or a crocheter, most of us, our projects will go out with us. So yeah, that's my other thing I was working on. So I mentioned that the other week I was going to record a podcast, and then obviously left at 7 o'clock in the morning like you do, and went to Unraveled. Now, I've gone there once before and loved it, and I kind of thought, do you know what, just for a couple of hours, because I don't go all there all day, because when there's a group of you, obviously you end up stopping for coffee and you go round and then you go around again. When it's just yourself, you literally can please yourself and you can go around as quick as you want, or do whatever. That's basically what I did. So I knew several of the dyers that were there, and I also have mentioned, which is this bag here, I got to meet finally in person. I've bought a number of So Yarnilicious bags over the years. Big fan. Beautifully made. And I actually got to meet the maker. And she spotted me and remembered me. It was great. It's just, I know it's good because we do everything digitally and you can do meetings on Teams and Zoom, all that kind of stuff, but you can't beat meeting someone in person. It's just, it was amazing. I was so pleased to see her. So obviously I couldn't resist buying a bag off of her. This one doesn't have the little label on the side, but she's got these lovely little tags with her logo on them, and that's So Yarnilicious. She's got her own website. She's a lovely maker and a really lovely person. I was so chuffed to meet her in person, and she gifted me some needle stoppers. I love a needle stopper. I've got a couple of different ones, and she let me pick a set of needle stoppers, and these are the Oreo biscuits, and my son loves Oreos, so that's why I picked them. And I haven't used them yet, only because I've been waiting to do the podcast to show them, so that you can see her logo and obviously how they get sent to you. They are lovely. So thank you for my gift. That was so sweet. And I got a hug as well, which was great. I love this. I'd actually seen this on her Instagram, these smiley happy socks. So I thought that's perfect to put my socks in. Obviously I've got a skein yarn ready, which I haven't started yet. But yeah, it was lovely to meet her. So yeah, go over and check her out. It's just amazing bags. I have got a few. Who else did I see again? So Birdstreet Yarn, mentioned them before, big fans of them, husband and wife, dyers and makers, and their Instagram pictures always look amazing. You can't beat when you see it in person. So I came back with, so it's Claire and John who are at Birdstreet Yarn, and this is called Out With a Bang, and it's 80%, it's zebra yarn, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's 4-ply. I'm going to make socks. I think I've seen these made in socks. Look at the colours on that. So I got that. I'm actually throwing all the stuff on the floor because stop me getting muddled. Rock Me Amadeus. Those of you who are from a certain age group will know there was a song with that in there. Oh, I feel my age. And that's a DK merino nylon socks. They are going to make beautiful socks. Look at all the speckles. And obviously bits of magenta in there, which is one of my favourite dye colours, so love that. And pretty sure I got this one when I was there. It was with them, so I must have got this one. I was thinking, because I've had a sort in my cupboard. But this is another one of theirs, which is DK Yarn, Queen of the Night. Yeah, I did get this one because I got 3, I remember now. They're going to make amazing socks as well. I'm really into double knit socks. Really, really love them. So that was great to see them. There was loads of different makers there. I got, I'm going to put the name underneath because I cannot remember. I'm pretty sure I haven't left it in there. Well, I've wanted one of these baskets for ages. When we were at Yarndale last, my friends actually stopped me looking. So as they weren't with me, I got a basket. Oh, it's lovely. And it's a real good backstory behind how these are made, who makes them, and how obviously they get paid properly for doing it, because it's amazing to actually be able to make these. So I got it's not one of the bigger ones, probably, I don't think it's even like a medium size, but it fits for my crochet project, my blanket. It fits my yarn in perfectly. And I've got that next to me. I can sort of lift it up and have it next to me on the sofa. Bring it upstairs if I'm having it, like, so what I do in the morning of a weekend, if we're not going out straight away, is I like to get up and I have no TV on. I just have peace and quiet. Might watch a podcast, coffee, crochet on it. I love doing that for like an hour. I try and do that at the weekend. If Carl gets up early, because sometimes he will have a line, but if he gets up early, the first thing he does is he'll put telly on. That's how, you know, what he enjoys. I can't stand the noise, so if he goes downstairs, it would be like, no offence, love you and all that, but I'll come upstairs and then I'll watch my podcast upstairs, and I have that. I think it's important to have a bit of time to yourself. So that means I literally can grab my basket and go. It's lovely. So I'm going to put the name underneath. The lady was lovely, who was selling them. She's been at Unravel before. I remember seeing them there. And I'll put the name below so you can go and check out where to get these from. They're lovely. Like I haven't got enough yarn bags, but hey. What else? I also, so whilst I'm on a yarn ban, I am allowed to get yarn. If it's yarn I haven't already got, that's how I justify it. If I go to a festival, and I went to Yarndale last year and obviously Unravel this year. Not sure whether we're going to get to Yarndale this year. It's quite expensive when a whole load of you go and you have to sort of rent a property. But if it works out, we end up north visiting family that weekend, I may pop over there. Be rude not to, wouldn't it? I've not got, so I've got some up there, some self-striping yarn, hand-dyed, but it's the fingering weight yarn, and I really wanted some double knit, and I'd seen the little grey girl had done a bit of a video when they were at the yarn festival the day before, and they were showing different products that they've got there, and I noticed that they had DK self-stripe. I do not have any self-striping yarn in double knit, so didn't have much left. So I grabbed these two because they're bright, they're cheerful, and they're going to make me so happy when I'm knitting them. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. That's called Gingerbread Village, and this one's called After the Storm. So they're online as well, the little grey girl. Go and check out them on Instagram, and they do different yarns, they do yarn bags, but this I was so happy to grab. Yeah, love it. Obviously not started knitting them yet. Sorry, I've just got to get a drink. So I came across a Love Me in New Yarn Dyers, and I love having a chat with them. I like a chat. I have to say, there are not enough male knitters, crocheters, yarn dyers out there. And I love meeting guys who knit, crochet or yarn dye. It just makes me happy that I think there needs to be more of it. It's becoming more popular, and you know, back in the day it was the guys that used to do a lot of knitting. If you read up on the history of it, there's loads of it's a real nice backstory with how knitting and crochet started and where it stems from. And I come across this, he's not a new yarn dyer, but he's new to me, and it's Tedknits UK. He was adorable. He was so nice and chatty, and we just had a natter about yarn and guys yarn dyeing, yeah, just that kind of real chat. So of course then I was like, well, that's why I was getting the yarn from you, because his yarn was lovely. So this is so he didn't have double knit sock yarn, but he had fingering sock yarn, and I think he had some slub as well there. I mean, it's like, as he said, you can only bring so much to yarn festivals. He's over on Facebook and on Instagram. Do check him out. He does lovely yarn. I follow him on Instagram now, and this is called Pool Party. Look at the colours on that. So it's a lovely grey variegated colour, and then it has speckles, which is right up my street, of magenta, a bit of lime, some oranges and turquoisey teals. And it's the twist yarn. So while you get sock yarn, that can be a little scratchy, some yarns are, but I've actually got some of this that I've dyed with, and it's really nice and hard wearing as well. And you see it has a little twist, so I adore that, but obviously I haven't made anything with it yet. That was my other yarn purchase. Naughty me. What else? So yeah, if you are over in Farnham, I think they're doing something like that later on this year. You have to go and check. If you Google Unravel, it'll take you to the Farnham Maltons, or go onto their website. It'll show you different craft things and that they have on there. I mean, it is a couple of hours each way for me, but because of the time I left, I didn't hit any traffic. I had a really good time there, but was still back for the afternoon to hang out with family. So it worked out really well. Right, should we do the winner of the prize? The prize that I've left in the in my bag. So I asked, this was the prize, which I haven't obviously used the yarn. I've used the yarn from Chintz Pies. She's a local dyer, literally lives in the next town along from me, and this was one of her skeins of yarn that I haven't used. And I think when I got it, I sort of had this idea that I'm going to make something for Jake, and now he's not into Harry Potter anymore, so it seems a bit pointless. So I've decided, obviously I was going to give this away, and I had quite a few of you comment, which was lovely, and most of you are Harry Potter fans. So Jake had a look through the comments, and he picked a Harry Potter fan. Hermione was this lady's favourite, and he has picked to win this prize, drum roll, no, silence, da, 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 da. There you go. I was thinking what I used to do as the thing. So the winner of this skein yarn is Diane Beavers, which made me chuckle. Diane Beavers 1119. So congratulations. So that's Diane Beavers 1119. You have won this skein of yarn. Pretty sure when I checked, I think you're actually in America. So I was like, thanks Jake, that cost me some money to send, but I don't make those rules up. Jake picks, so I will send it wherever. So this one is going to go across to you. If you could message me, ideally on Instagram, because I just find it easier to pick messages up from there, and give me your name and address, and I will get this posted out to you. So congratulations. Now for the prize for this episode, as I have been making crochet blankets with Stylecraft yarn, I'm going to give away 6 balls of Stylecraft yarn. What I want you to do is comment which colours, I'm going to make it really easy because it'll be easier when you're picked to win the prize. Pick what colours you would like in your prize. There you go, easy as that. So you might say all the blues and greys, pinks and greens, purples. I have quite a bit of Stylecraft yarn, so I'll be able to make you a little 6 balls of Stylecraft DK yarn, so that you can do your own little crochet project or knit. You can crochet or knit with it. But yeah, that's what I'm going to give away for the episode today. So comment below what would be your colour palette for the prize. That makes that quite easy, doesn't it? So yeah, that's for, and I'll should be in 2 weeks. Worst case, it's going to be in a month. I can't commit to exactly when I can do it at the minute. It's just been so busy, work life, that I don't want to do a podcast and just feel stressed and overwhelmed trying to do it, because believe it or not, it does take quite a while to get the setup, sort out what you're going to show, all that good stuff. So yeah, but yeah, comment down below. What I would recommend you do, so that you know when a new episode is coming, is subscribe, because you get notifications. I subscribe to a number of really good podcasts. I would never remember when they come out, so I subscribe to them all, and I always get a little notification of when they're doing a podcast or if they're doing a live. I did think about doing a live, but I don't think I'm brave enough to do that yet. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe one day. But yeah, so what shall we... Yarn bags, I've got to show you this. So it's quite a crochet theme. I love so those of you that have bought Emma Ball, she does amazing designs and has a number of different designers linked into her. That's her little logo there. So she does different range. She does sheeps and sweaters. She does different, like seasidey ones and countryside. She does all sorts of different themes, but does knitting and crochet themes. So I think I've got a couple of these. I've got sheeps and sweaters. She does these little Birks, which are adorable. What is not to love? Puffins wearing jumpers. His yarn, it's adorable. She does these little project Birks, which this one is a knitting one, but it explains to you, which is amazing, Kitchener stitch. I still cannot remember that. So it gives you Kitchener stitch here, gives you knitting needle conversion charts, increasing stitches, decreasing, brilliant. And it's a project book, so you could design your own patterns here, which you could use for crochet or knitting. And obviously the notes page, these are really reasonably priced, and there's crochet and there's knitting. So I just wanted to show that. I just grabbed that book when I was sorting these out. That's not the exciting bit. So Emma Ball has joined up with, let me just check. Sorry, I'm just checking I haven't missed anything, because clearly the memory's not with it. Janie Crow does crochet. Janie Crow is her brand, and I've made I think it was Persian tiles, and I did a bed runner. One of my friends has actually made that. She does the most amazing crochet designs. There's loads of amazing crochet designers out there, but she just has a massive range, and she has books, and she sells, you can go on her website, or other yarn companies sell her blanket kits. She's joined forces with Emma Ball to bring out bags and stuff, bags and books. There's jigsaws, there's chopping board, there's, what else is there? There's a mug for her lanterns blanket. Oh yeah, wait. Crochet coaster. It's very exciting. I've been waiting for this stuff to be launched for ages. Sorry, I've got a dry throat today. So these bags are really reasonably priced as well. You can get them, and a number of different yarn shops sell them. I actually got them from the Emma Ball website, because if there's other bits you want to, you know, other different makes in there you want to get, but oh God, I couldn't decide which bag I wanted, so I got both. Look at it, it's huge. So I originally had my blanket in this. Have you seen? It's crochet there, but knit stitch. So a few of, I think the sheeps and sweaters has got the knit stitch. So this is a drawstring bag with the fabric handle, or the webbed handle. That's her logo, in case those of you who have been under a rock and don't know of her. That's her logo there. Adorable. And that's a perfect shawl bag, I would say. And that one was more of a blanket or jumpery bag. Really, really good price for these. I think they work out $13.99 or something, which is cheap for a project bag. Obviously they're made in bulk. I don't know what else I can say now. I just adore it. Sorry, I keep opening zip. That's really annoying. How gorgeous is that? I'm trying to think whether, I think I made one similar colours to this, but I think it had a little bit more orange in it, but it could be this. But I've actually made this pattern. So you could have your crochet, to be honest, you could have your knitting in it, but you could have your yarn project in a yarn looking yarn bag. God, it's so cute. I'm trying to see, I thought I had the pencil. Oh, I have got the pencil case one. Yeah, as you can see, I haven't filled it up yet. Has the same stitch fabric, but it's a wipeable fabric. I can't think what the name of it is. Anyway, look at that. So that's the pencil case as well. That's a little crochet obsessive, isn't it? But I'm so excited. I think she does Mystical Lanterns. That's the other one that she's got. And one that's denim-y blue colours. Can't remember the name of that one. I think that was a crochet along, I think, in a magazine a while back. Yeah, she's got 3 different themes. So there's a number of stockists out there that do them. But I just was on Emma Ball's mailing list, saw that they're in stock, straight on and got them. So yeah, I can't wait to get them into use. Let's go and check them out. So the last thing that we'll do is Winnie's yarn. So which I hadn't realised, next month is the 12-month anniversary since I started advertising Winnie's yarn. Obviously I set up a website. If I'm honest, the website is too much for me to manage, you know, full-time job, family, life, want to crochet and knit a lot, do have obviously other things to do, and want to do my yarn dyeing. I can't do it all. I find sometimes it just gets a bit much. So I've been doing the website for nearly a year. I don't feel the website has paid for itself having it, because all the time and effort you have to put into it and you manage it. So I also had to dabble with Etsy. Personally didn't get on with it. You get next to no sales on it. The hand-dyed market is very saturated. There is a lot of hand-dyed yarns out there, and some people turn it into a full-time business. If I had more hours, yeah, I think I could have a good go at that, but at the moment it's just something I do on the side. There really isn't enough hours in the day, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. But I think realistically the website is too much, so I'm going to stop the website within the next week or so. I'm going to take it offline, and I'm actually going to list, because I've got a number of skeins that I've dyed and can sell. Otherwise I'm going to have to knit with them all. I mean, I'm not bothered if I keep them, to be honest. I love them. But I just think that I've looked at options of, you know, Shopify. They charge you a monthly fee. It's all a lot of expense, which is fine if I've got enough time to devote to that to cover the costs, but I haven't at the moment. So I think that the route I'm going to do at the moment is via eBay, which obviously you can use PayPal, it's protected. Not that I would never send you your yarn or my dodgy, but people like a bit of peace of mind when they're buying something. I have got my own eBay page that I still have a lot of craft stuff, but I've sold a load of craft stuff because I physically can't do all the whole biz. And that's been really good for selling my secondhand stamp sets and punches and that type of thing. But I don't want to put the yarn on there and it get kind of swallowed up into it. Although I have got a really good rating on there for my sales. You know, I don't get negative feedback, touch wood again. But I think doing its own separate one for Winnie's yarn. What I'll also do on there as well is I've got skeins of yarn that I'll be looking at destashing, so I'll probably list them on there as well, because you can only use so much yarn. But I'm just going to remind you of some of the yarns that I have done, I'm doing. So I've got a number of skeins that I have done. Obviously they're going to have bands on them, but I don't tend to put the bands on them because they get quite damaged when they're stored in a cupboard. They're not in the sun. There's nothing, you know, I store them properly. But this is merino. This is DK merino. No, it's not. See, I forgot what it is already. But these are some of the colours that I do. I love pinks and greens together. Just absolutely love it. So I've got some of these. I've got teals and pinks. You'll see that I do like a lot of turquoise and pinks and teals. I've got this lovely rich burgundy colour. I think it's Vermont, I think was the colour. And I also have done some Halloween colours, so oranges and green. This is fingering yarn, and where I mentioned on Tedknits that they have a spin to it, this also has a slight spin. What it means is the yarn is really soft, really soft. So I'm going to be listing these on eBay. If anyone else has got any good recommendations on where to sell yarn that's quite low maintenance and doesn't cost you a fortune, let me know. I do find, yes, you get charged by eBay, but you get the money quite quick, and I've just used eBay for a number of years, so I think that's the kind of route I'm going to try. But any recommendations would be gratefully received. We all want to do things in a simple, non-stressful way. So this, I did debate whether I was going to, when I've made this one, this is a teal, but it has a sparkle, which is gorgeous. And that's double knit. That has a really nice sparkle to it. I have another teal, which is a merino. So some of it is merino, just 100%. And then I have different sock yarns. This is a teal. I really like that one. But with that would be lovely. And slub, I'm a big slub. Slub. Love it. I'll show you slub. So that's merino, and then you've got the slub where I did the same colourway but on slub yarn. I have got, there we go, it's falling on the floor. These are some of the slub yarns. If you haven't tried slub, you need to. I actually thought it would be awful to knit with, but I love it in where I do my wrist warmers. Mentioned before, I add slub to it, makes them super warm, much warmer than just the merino on its own. So that's some of these slub. Oh, more slub. Slubs. So I've got 2 of these. Oh, they're so nice. Makes one in it. I wish I had more hours in the day. Another slub, love that one. It's a lovely mixture of greens. Still raining, so I can hear the rain on the roof. And oh, another slub. So that was mint choc chip. I remember that one. Obviously I need to reskein that, but slub is just the squishiest. And I have, so this is Nep. You can see with the little bits of, see the little bits of fibre in there. I'm just going to undo that one. Look at the colours in that. That is lovely and bright. So that's Nep. I've got another turquoise net. So I'm going to list these all on eBay for the time being. And this one, I really like the colours in this. This is oranges and purples. This was a bit of an experiment with colours. I have got some of the colours that I've recently done where I have made a note of the recipe for them, because some of them have just worked out beautifully. So that was another one. I've got some 50 grams. So this is sock yarn. This is really nice soft sock yarn, and that has got pinks and greens. So you get 250 grams, which is great if you want to do 2 socks at a time. These are perfect for this because you haven't got to measure out, they're already done for you. And love this magenta, really bright. It's variegated, so there's the odd little patch where it's slightly lighter or darker. And I have, this is zebra, which is a similar magenta, and this is zebra, obviously with the black stripes. That'll make a really nice hat, that. I've got all these ideas. I'm going to make more. I need to make more samples. I know I do, but I'm only one person. It's hard. And that's another 50 gram set. So then what I do because I'm going to do some more dyeing, not just yet, but I want to do some more colours, and I will show them on the podcast, and then obviously let you know when they've appeared on eBay. So obviously in the UK there's a postal charge for, depends whether you want it to go recorded. I would recommend we do recorded or registered, but you can normally go up to like 2 kilos. So if it works out that you do end up paying slightly more postage, if it doesn't work it out 100% where it charges you a bit more, but I'll put them in together and then refund any difference. I always do that. I don't make money on postage, not at all. So I have that with magentas and greens. I've just got to reskein them because I've literally just thrown them into the box. And then there's another turquoise nap. So these are the cotton type ones. And what else? Greens. Those of you that like greens, another 250 grams. I'm just going to undo it so you can see some of the colours. And this is lovely, this. Look at that. Imagine a pair of socks in that. They are seriously bright. So they've got little specks, dark colours in them. And then variegated. So you've got the real light and then the dark. It's a lovely orange. Never really, I don't use a lot of orange, but I think it looks amazing knit up. So I've also got, oh, see, I really like the blues. They're 250 grams. Got another 50 grams of these. These are obviously sock yarn, pinks and greens. So I could go on forever with this, couldn't I? And oh, I love that colour, I really do. I'd love a jumper in that colour. And then some more slub. I love slub. And look at that. So yeah, there's quite a wide range of colours. I could go on forever talking about it. Yeah, so have a look. It's going to be under Winnie's yarn. Crochet Knit Love by Jo is such a mouthful. I've even considered changing the name of my Instagram podcast, because originally it was Crochet Love by Jo, but I just think Crochet Knit Love by Jo, it doesn't kind of flow, but I haven't come up with a good name. There's quite a few people know me under that name, so I was a bit dubious whether to not. But on eBay it will be under winnies.yarn. Simple as that. WINNIES.yarn. You'll be able to find me over there, so I'll be doing an update on there hopefully that will be an easier way for it to work and to be sold. We'll see how it goes. But like I said, any suggestions? So I think now I'm covered under all the yarn. I think that's everything for this episode, I think. I don't know why I felt really nervous doing this episode. Still feel nervous now. It's weird. I'm a weirdo, I know. So it's been lovely to see you all again across the video, as it were. And I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, wherever you are. I hope you all get some craft time or relax time or sleep time. And I keep an eye on Instagram because I'll post if there's any new makes when the podcasts come out as well. But if you can, I would recommend you subscribe, because then you'll get your notifications. Makes life a lot easier. So all of you stay safe, and I will see you really soon. Take care. Bye.